My name is Tim Murray-Browne. I'm an artist working with digital interaction and creative code. My background is in computer science and maths originally, and after my degree I did a PhD where I was researching how we find value in interactivity. And from that I went into interactive art, particularly looking at how technology affects us when we interact with it. So my work is all about the relationship between the person and the system and how that evolves and how that affects us as people. I think there's a lot of discussion about technology in terms of what we can do with technology or what we want to do with technology, what we should be able to do, but a lot less of people thinking about how the technology is changing us as humans. I'm really interested in the parts of us that get left behind when we interact with technology. So we are humans, we have ways of behaving as humans, but when you introduce technology, sometimes it only really references part of being human. And here we have the Cave of Sounds. It's an ensemble of 8 musical instruments. And we created it as a group of artists and engineers, and we developed it over a period of about 10 months in a sort of an experimental process where 8 of us came together and we decided we wanted to build an ensemble, but we didn't plan what the ensemble would be, but each person built an instrument that encapsulated who they are. Because to create technology is in itself a kind of expressive act, and particularly if you create an interactive interface like a musical instrument, you put a lot of yourself into it, a lot of like how someone can behave or what kind of music someone would make with it. So working as a group with 8 of us, we would meet every few weeks and share what we've done so far and see how our own contributions resonate with the rest of the group. So it was a kind of development process where the result was emergent. You know, we didn't have a design in plan, we didn't have an initial vision, but we allowed like the work to emerge through the kind of collective group dynamics. And the piece we've ended up with, so it's exhibited here and there's no players, or there's no sort of professional players, it's just here for the audience to play. And it's very much a work about democracy and sort of community empowerment. So when people come, they're not here to be bystanders or passive observers, but they have to get involved. You know, that's what makes the work come alive, is when people get involved and interact with it. Called the Cave of Sounds because a big inspiration for the piece were theories and ideas about the origins of music and of prehistoric people creating music, as much as 60,000 years ago. And even back then, people have found flutes that people made from 60,000 years ago. So technology and music, they have kind of probably interwoven all throughout our history. We're really interested in music as a way for people to form a shared identity as a group. So when we created the work, we were 8 individuals, and together we created an ensemble. And then when the audience comes to the work, they come as individuals, but by playing together, they will form like a single identity that's creating the sound in the space. My artwork is very much about how technology affects us, and I think creating art I think art is a great space to explore things that maybe we feel, but we might not have the concepts to describe. You can create experiences. And the Cave of Sounds is as an audience member coming to the Cave of Sounds, the experience we really hope for is one of feeling how technology can be something that allows you to express yourself more and be a part of the group without necessarily having technology tell you what you should be doing or who you should be doing. And I feel that there's a lot of control happens through technology, particularly with consumer technology, interactive technology. A lot of it is given to us, and we have little control over what role it will have in our lives or how we will use it. So this is a work created by people who have built the technology themselves. You know, they've built their own instrument to share something about themselves, and that's a kind of vision of how we might relate to technology. And in this work, it's a kind of speculative work to reveal how the social relations that we create through technology are real and they are manifest when we use technology. So this work is in a circle and everybody faces inwards. There's no leader to it, there's no set way you should use it, there's no like metrics to say if you're doing good or bad, because it's not even a concept, it's just here for you to explore and express yourself. And it's in the center we have this octagon, which when multiple people come and start playing, it will start glowing orange, and it's kind of like a fire in the middle. So we really have this idea of a small community of people where everybody's an active participant and everybody's sitting around a fire playing instruments and making sounds together and allowing themselves to belong to a single group. When we think about technology, we often think of it in a functional way, like what can this technology let us do? But when we use technology to create art, it gives us a space to look back at the technology and really see what technology does when we're not trying to do anything, how it just affects us anyway.